This time on Whatever We Want, we talk about Thor, The Dark World. All the creative compositioning between cutting from different places and combining different types of footage.
Yeah, people shooting in Hong Kong and California and putting them together, along with some serious injuries from some of the actors on set. Also, there are time codes in the description if you want to jump ahead to anything. Enjoy. Thank you for listening.
Enjoy!
PreBanter! PreBanter! Daniel, how's it going?
Wait, is that our new jingle for PreBanter? Is that a thing?
I just kind of say that occasionally. I don't know if it's like an official jingle or anything.
It's like a side jingle. You do it like every now and then.
A side gig. We have a second podcast called PreBanter. We just talk.
It's like literally the whole podcast is just like the edits of us doing PreBanter stuff. Honestly, people might listen to that if it's like stupid enough stuff.
Oh my gosh. All right, I just want to let people know before we start, I feel a little more prepared. I'm probably going to still be sweating.
He's weak,
but
mom's spaghetti.
I'm wearing a cutoff, so I got a lot of air flowing, so hopefully I won't be sweating as much. Iron Man 3 might have seemed a little rushed because I was like sweating and I also had to pee, and I also found out at the end after we stopped recording, Daniel also had to pee, so we were like, oh, Iron Man 3 ended, everything ended, goodbye.
Yeah, it was very hectic.
It's all good.
But we're prepared now.
Yeah. Are you ready for the intro?
Yeah, just slam me with it, like Thor slams Mjolnir.
You may want us to talk about this or that, but we don't care. We're gonna talk about whatever we want. Blah.
There.
Welcome back.
Boom.
To Whatever We Want, the podcast where we, Jake and Daniel, two devilishly handsome gentlemen, talk about movies, giving insights into behind the scenes, why things happen on the screen, for all your favorite movies, as long as they're probably Marvel and other like geek things.
Well, I guess it's more like all of our favorite movies because it's whatever we want.
Well, you can vote if you support us on Patreon. Speaking of Patreon,
hold on. I just got a phone call.
You just got a phone?
Well, no, the phone rings and literally it says telemarketer. Like, that's what the name is.
Oh my gosh.
Straight up telemarketer. I've never seen that before.
You just ruined my segue flow. What was it? All right, the cue the Star Wars music. Boosh. All right, we've got patron Lori, patron Frank, patron Tony, patron Rick, and that's our patrons. Thank you for supporting the show. You get the episodes early. If you want to be a patron, check the link in the description. You get some cool perks. Bam.
You know, I feel like we should start making like more merch, like stickers or something like that.
We do have the shirts. Do you think we should start selling those shirts?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. It's all right. Like I've been saying, but like just it's been really busy, like kind of moving back into college, a lot of stuff going on. So I apologize that I haven't been as active like on our social medias and stuff. I'm going to turn that around. I've started doing a bunch of marketing research, and I want to find out how to make the podcast the best it can be. So yeah, glad you guys can be a part of it.
You know what else tried to be the best that can be?
What? Who?
Thor, The Dark World. It really tried. It did.
What'd you think? That's what we're talking about. Let's get into it. Oh, wait. I'll remember this time. ARoSW sound clip.
Did you ever see Return of the Jedi?
Oh, you finally remembered it this time.
That was an amazing sound clip. I'm so happy I remembered that. Oh, man, this is going to be a good episode now.
You say that, and then it's Thor 2.
Oh, Daniel. I have a lot written down. What did you think of Thor 2, watching it back this time?
I have a lot written down, too.
You took notes again? Yay!
I feel like it opened up a lot to the world in the Marvel Universe, I guess you could say.
The Dark World.
But no, like in seriousness, like when you get another Infinity Stone, you get different, I guess, planes of existence here.
In the last shot, you see HEL, like that hell, in one of the dimensions, which is like apparently something in Marvel.
No, yeah.
I didn't know what it was, but
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
World Tree. That's one thing I really liked about this, how they kept authentic to the World Tree, and like, because in the comics,
yeah,
Earth actually is in the center of the universe. If you want to think of it like an intergalactic space highway.
And I'm the center of Earth, therefore I'm the center of the universe. That's what my mom told me.
Are you in Greenwich?
Just kidding. That's the opposite of what my mom told me. Yeah, I go to college in Greenwich, Daniel. I didn't tell you.
Oh, dang. Wow, you really are.
It's like 10 o'clock over there. I'm really tired.
But yeah, no, I think it did open up a lot to the world. It might not have had the best screenplay, but overall, I think it did open up some eyes and some more paths for the later movies, getting into characters like Loki and stuff like that. So,
oh, dude, Loki was the best part of this entire movie.
Yeah, he was.
He was so good. Well, I have a little bit of information on Thor: The Dark World. So it was directed by Alan Taylor, who worked on Lost, The Sopranos, and then after this, Terminator Genesis, and Game of Thrones. That's actually how he got hired. Kevin Feige saw Game of Thrones and saw that kind of TV was going through like this renaissance of like the high production quality, and pretty much every Game of Thrones episode is like just a slightly shorter movie. So they asked Alan Taylor if he would want to do this, and Alan Taylor had kind of been wanting to switch to the big screen to try it out.
Ah, yes, the man who writes episodes about incest and war.
I don't think he wrote it, he directed it.
Even better.
He missed a lot of season 3 though, he said, which he was kind of sad about. But yeah, to our Game of Thrones fans, this was directed by Game of Thrones and is considered the worst Marvel movie. So maybe that's why we're skeptical to go over to Game of Thrones. Just say.
I've only seen like the first 2 episodes, and all it is gossip and incest.
I've seen the first episode. But yeah, so this is different director than Ken, my boy Ken, if you remember him. He was not brought back on.
My boy.
The budget for this was $170 million, and it wasn't like a failure at the box office. It brought in 600.
Oh no, it definitely ranked in. Yeah.
Almost $650 million, which is a lot less than Iron Man 3, but it was more than Thor 1, which only grossed $450 million. So, yeah. I personally, like, say what you will about this movie, the world building, I feel is a step up compared to Thor 1. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Asgard is really fleshed out. They even said in the director's commentary that they really wanted to make it a priority to kind of go down to the street level of Asgard, they kept saying, and places that are actually, like, lived in. Like, if you remember the palace, the throne room in the first Thor, it was just, like, gold everywhere, and it was like,
yeah,
no one can, like, live here.
Everything's gilded.
There's not a single piece of dust anywhere.
Yeah.
But, like, this, it felt like ancient, like, Nordic, and it felt like really real, and I really appreciated that. It felt like I didn't feel like Thor 1 was lacking, but after seeing this, I like looking back, I was like, wow, like this is so much better in that aspect at least.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, not only were you able to see like street level, but like even in like I guess common areas, like when they're feasting and like celebrating.
Yeah, when they're about to do the heist and stuff, like that room that they were like planning the heist.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like even when they were just like having a little pity pat party that Thor was like
pity pat party.
Well, no, I'm thinking the first one
the
where
PPP,
where they're like, oh, like we need to go deal with the frost giants, and like the room that they're sitting in, it's literally just all gold, you know?
Yeah.
As compared to like later when you see Thor and Heimdall like just talking like secretly, just like a common bar. You know?
Secret meeting. Secret meeting. You know what's also funny though? Later they go to a secret tunnel.
Yeah, they do.
Secret tunnel.
And of course Loki knows about it. I forgot how the next few words go, but oh yeah, and
no, it's then ta-da when they like come through the other side. Let's go back to Tank. So I really, this commentary actually was like a gold mine in my opinion, because so you know how I said Iron Man 3 was like one of the worst commentaries.
Gold mine, because we just said that.
Oh my gosh,
it was gold. Yeah, sorry, I had to say it.
Yeah. So we said Iron Man 3 was one of the worst commentaries. I think they kind of learned from that and tried to prevent this mistake again. So they had 4 people on this one. It was the director, so Alan Taylor, and then the DP, like director of photography or cinematographer, whatever you want to call him.
Yep.
And then Kevin Feige was also on this one, and Tom Hiddleston, like Loki, was on this one. Which so like there was always people talking, which was awesome.
Oh yeah, I remember going through this secret tunnel.
No, but I feel like though. They didn't say this, but like I think because I've edited this podcast, I understand like how audio tracks work. I think there were 2 groups, and I don't think they recorded together, but they spliced like the best parts of each one together. Because like I think the director and the DP were together recording, and then I think Kevin Feige and Tom Hiddleston were recording together. Because like each like those 2 people like in each group were talking to each other, but they like never referenced what another person would say. So that's
interesting.
Kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, but it was good director's commentary.
Kevin Feige calls you up and he's like, "No, you're wrong. We just didn't care about the other 2."
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that's a pretty cool observation.
Another observation I made: there was no Paramount logo. Finally.
Yes, I was like,
it was the new Marvel logo.
Oh, so we're finally Marvel. Yeah, like the Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
Yes.
I liked it a lot. I mean, just I was like ready for Paramount. I was like, where is it?
And then you're just hit with the first ever. Of course, the first one with the Marvel logo is the Dark World.
Yeah, seriously. Starting out strong.
Well, no, I mean, I get, you got to start somewhere, and then you got to, help build up. But yeah, so
we start out with some more Odination.
Yeah.
To learn about the ether.
There's darkness. And then he said something about like eternal light, I think. And then I was like, eternal light and twilight.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
what are you with you and Twilight?
Liz made me watch it. She really made me watch the one though. And it's like, I'm like,
you loved it.
What is this? No, I was like, it was the last one she made me watch. And I'm like, why? The only parts of Twilight I've seen are the beginning part where like Edward saves Bella.
Daniel, we're not talking about Twilight. You're spoiling it for me. Back to
and
the
then
tank.
The last one.
Daniel, I'm cutting all of this. All right. So originally, actually, in this film, there was going to be no no prologue, no narration in the beginning, but they showed it to test audiences, and
And they're like, what the heck is going on?
well, they said like, where's the Odin narration? Like, that's a trope of Thor. And like Kevin Feige was kind of thinking, he said this in a nice way. He was like, oh, it's so nice that they thought like we have like a trope, and we've only had one Thor movie. But I bet he was thinking like, what do you mean trope? Like there's been one other movie that you can't establish tradition. Yeah. But they liked the idea, so they went back, and it helped explain the Dark Elves, because I think also the Dark Elves had more like backstory, but it was cut, which might have made the villain stronger. We'll get to that. But
really,
yeah, this whole opening sequence actually was completely CG, except for Odin's dad, the guy with the like horned helmet.
Yeah, Bor.
And then the two main Dark Elves. Everything else was completely CG, and I thought it looked incredible. Like I had no idea until they told me.
Yeah, dude, I thought the Asgardians were really on the Dark World, and
I meant like the people. Not I.
I know what you mean.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just playing with you. But yeah, no, it's just like that is crazy.
This is the end of the podcast. I can't take it anymore.
So pretty much my notes here were just Aether, or Ether, however you want to say it, which is the reality gem that we later figure out.
Red liquid.
I just called it Cherry Coke.
Okay.
And then there's Bor and Bor's War.
His helmet was actually CG.
Really?
Because they didn't nail down the design yet, so they did it in post. Have you ever seen the TMNT 3D animated movie?
Yeah. The one with Michael Bay, you mean?
No, not real life, but like there was an older one. It's about like worlds converging, and this like very much reminded me of that.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I thought you were talking about the new CG.
It's like more cartoon, but 3D. It's an older one, but yeah, like
where they have like I think it's like rubberized suits or something like that.
That might have been the one that Chris Evans was Casey in that, but I don't know if it was.
I don't know.
Anyways. Back to the tank.
I pretty much also just say here, Asgard is like the America of the universe.
What?
Because they go to war with everybody.
Oh my gosh.
To try to maintain universal peace.
Well, that brings up a good theme that, like, it's very interesting to me, and I kind of was confused a little bit, but, like, we learn a lot more about Odin and how he kills a lot of people to keep people in line. Yeah. And in the first one, he was very much like, we should only do that last resort. Like, that's our last resort. In this one, he's like, kill everyone.
Yeah, he got like he did like a full 180.
I will sacrifice to the last man.
Yeah, I was like, Odin, what's going on here? You kind of like, you going crazy?
It just felt weird because like last time
he was so like noble and like wise, I guess.
There was a scene where Thor and Odin were like arguing, and it felt like the first scene, but it was flipped. Like Odin was acting like a spoiled teenager, and Thor was actually kind of being like reasonable and calm.
Yeah.
But then Thor went behind Odin's back again, but instead of this time getting banished, he won and then was celebrated. I don't know, just some interesting parallels.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about that as well. I'm just like, it's like I kind of see like why they would try to do that, you know, to try to show like the maturity of Thor, you know, getting into his place.
Yeah.
But then also Thor doesn't take the mantle of king, so like it's kind of eliminates the purpose of you even having that kind of arc flip like that between like these two characters. I don't know. It's just I feel like Odin could have handled it better, you know?
Yeah. I was also watching CinemaSins and thought Cinema Wins, and thought this exact same thing they commented. There have been no Dutch angles up until this point, and I was so happy. This one cut back seriously in the Dutch angles, and that is something I will give it over Thor 1 any day of the week.
Yeah.
But anyways, we get back to the present, and we see what's happened to Loki after Avengers.
Well, also, we should also state that the big bad boy is named Malakath.
Malachi? I don't even know.
I thought it was Malakath. And then because of that, I called him Malkat.
I love you're like, we should say this just
just so we can keep in mind that it's Malkat trying to find the cherry coke.
So we see Loki. He's got some longer hair. I think Loki's hair just progressively gets better and better through each film. Like, I hate his hair in Thor 1, and then it gets slightly better and longer in Avengers, and then it's really long in this one. I really like his hair in this one.
Yeah, agreed.
And also in Ragnarok.
Shows how crazy he's getting.
In the director's commentary, they called Thor, Avengers, and Thor 2 Trilogy, like a trilogy, but like for Loki, because like he's such a main character, and it's like his movies, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it makes sense, you know? I mean, like, he's big bad in Thor.
He's not the big bad in this one, though.
Yeah, no, he's not.
Allows him to be a very interesting anti-hero.
Yeah.
He's not like a villain. For people that don't know, anti-hero is like not a villain, but definitely not a hero. Kind of like Deadpool's an anti-hero as well.
Yeah.
You don't really know where Loki's allegiances lie.
Wow. said that in sync. Wow.
Wow. All right, but I really think Tom Hiddleston, Tom Hiddleston plays this role so well, and that's a big thing. Like, the popularity of this character is why, like, he wasn't originally supposed to be in this film a lot, but because the character was so popular, like, it reinforced in Marvel's eyes that, like, we need to have more Loki in this.
Secret Loki.
People always comment about, like, Hugh Jackman and RDJ as their characters, but, like, dude, Tom Hiddleston is Loki. I cannot see other people playing Loki.
No, I agree. I mean, how many movies has he been in now?
Loki, Thor 2 was his third time playing Loki.
And then he was in Thor 3.
Thor 3, Infinity War, and Endgame.
Was that 6?
And he will also be in Thor 4, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's 6.
And he also has his TV show.
And that. At least 6 films over the past 10 years, and then...
He said he loves coming back to it because... All right, Tom Hiddleston in this director's commentary, he's, like, such a nice guy. He was, like, so grateful that he was able to play this character 3 times because, like, that's so rare, he said. And, like, he loves, like, being able to, like, explore deeply the, like, understandings of, like, the character, and, like, he's just such a nice guy. Like, I don't know how he plays a villain. Like, literally, like, throughout, like, the director's commentary, he kept thanking people. He was like, oh, the visual effects department did such beautiful work here. Like, oh, the stunt people in this sequence, and he like kept like naming individual people, and I was like, dude, like you are
a saint.
Amazing.
You are a god.
And like he knew Ian. He like talked to Ian and like found out that the guy that plays Ian, the like intern, is
the intern's intern.
Yeah, that was his first professional role. Like he was straight out of school and then got hired for Thor 2.
What's Ian been doing now?
I don't know.
We need to do some more research on Ian. It's not even his real name.
He and Darcy hanging out.
Yeah, hanging out, if that's what you want to call it. So,
the throne room. You gotta think, this is the first time that Odin is seeing Loki since he thought he died. That's like crazy.
Oh, yeah, I have that noted as Loki big mad.
This scene was actually in a prequel comic that was supposed to just bridge the gap between Avengers and Thor 2, but Kevin Feige and just the creatives at Marvel like read it.
They're like, no, put it in.
Well, like, yeah, it was published and they read it and they were like, this is really good. We need to put this in the movie. So they put it in the movie.
I really liked how Odin was like, your birthright was to die.
Yeah, no, but he was like, your birthright was to die. Like the T, like its own like planet over there.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Your birthright. Dude, Anthony Hopkins, man, it's so good as Odin.
Yeah, that's another thing. I can't imagine anybody else as Odin now. You know, like
yeah, that's true.
He plays that role so well as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we see Vanaheim, and this is again going into the world building. I like how they have it like set up where it's like its own.
What is Vanaheim again?
Vanaheim's like when they go like I don't even know their name. All the other warriors are like fighting, and there's like the mercenaries coming in. There's like the fighting.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So they go to Vanaheim, and then Thor comes in, and I put down a note like, was Thor just waiting on the Bifrost? Was he just like up there? He's like, Heimdall, how's it going down there?
I need to make a good entrance.
Heimdall's like, hey, dude, your squad, your boys need ya. And he's like, okay, send me into the match.
Did you know so they recasted the blonde Warrior 3 guy, Zach Levi. So he actually was originally supposed to be that guy, Frandl, whatever his name is. Frindle.
But then the guy that went to Once Upon a Time took the role.
No, Zachary Levi couldn't because he had to do Chuck. Have you ever seen Chuck?
No.
Chuck's pretty good. The first 4 seasons, Matt and I watched it. So he had to do reshoots or something for Chuck, so he couldn't do his schedule, which is like his TV show. I highly recommend that. I think it's on Amazon Prime for anyone who wants to watch that. But then he couldn't do it, so this other guy got it. But yeah, then this guy had to do Once Upon a Time, so Zachary Levi got it back.
My time has come.
Yeah. Also, Zachary Levi, he's the same guy from Shazam. He's Shazam.
Yeah, he bulked up a good bit between.
He did.
Here and there.
He bulked up a lot.
Yeah.
And he also is Flynn Rider in Tangled.
Yep.
Like he's the prince. And so because like he can sing well, apparently Tom Hiddleston said that like Tom Hiddleston and Zachary Levi would like sing in the makeup chairs in the morning together just to get pumped up for the day to shoot.
Oh, today we'll kill Thor.
Wait, one of them's Thor's friend though.
And he's like, wait, what?
Speaking of the Marauders though, like that on that planet, they spent a ton of time developing those costumes and everything. And actually it took 4 hours of makeup and prosthetics to get
everybody all set up.
Yeah, to get them all set up, which is crazy.
Dang.
And this whole sequence is kind of to show that crime in the 9 realms has spiked since the Bifrost has been destroyed.
But now it is repaired, and Thor comes in, and he sees Korg's brother, or cousin, or whoever it might be, and he's like, you're a big one.
He just obliterates him.
Thor's bigger, and then kablooey.
Thor's not bigger.
No, he said, doesn't he?
You mean fought bigger?
Doesn't he say that? You're big.
He says that in the first one.
Oh my goodness, he does. I'm combining movies. No, he says, I'll accept your surrender in this one. I totally flipped those lines.
Yeah. I think that's the problem with this Thor is like Thor is at his peak power level throughout the entire thing. And like nothing really challenges him too much. Besides like, of course, dealing with his mother's death, spoilers. But like in the first one, he had to deal with his identity being stripped down. Not strep. He didn't get strep throat. Yeah, Thor got strep throat. That was the first movie.
Imagine the whole movie where Thor's just like...
Yeah, and then in the third one, he lost his hammer, which was a huge part of what he thought his identity was.
Hammer! Yeah.
And he lost his hair and everything, but lost Asgard. So he did lose a lot in Thor 3.
Oh, wait, also, I had a question for you.
Yeah.
Did they say that the convergence happens every 500 years or every 5,000?
5,000.
Okay, that's what I thought.
If it was 500, then Thor would have seen 2 already. Oh, Zachary Levi also said that they had to go through a month of horse riding training. Horseback riding training?
Why did you pause right there? You did the opposite of the Planet T, where you're like horseback riding.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of stunt choreo. Chris Hemsworth actually pushed for more wire work because so far he felt like Thor was a lot of like hand-to-hand just punching, and he wanted to find a different fight style and kind of shake it up.
Yeah, I can see that making sense.
Yeah. Also, the Korg's brother, Korg's cousin, whatever, that species, like that was like one of the first villains in one of the first Thor issues, so that was kind of a nod to that.
Yeah.
This planet also kind of like reminds me of Thanos' vacation farm planet.
Vacation home?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
His timeshare he has.
He has a condo on the other side. Okay, so pretty much we finish up here.
I like the transition back to Asgard, like the Bifrost and like into the Rainbow Bridge. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That and the music swells. The composer was actually the same composer from Iron Man 3, and they really liked his work, so they brought him on for Thor 2.
Didn't know that.
I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, he did a really good job.
Kind of improving upon the original Thor theme.
Yeah, no, I think the score on this was improvement from the first one. What I like here is that you get to see Odin and his crows, which I forget if we talked about before.
Yeah, we did. But this behind the scenes is actually hilarious. Like the crows, there's a gag reel, and the crows like weren't always doing what they were supposed to. Like there's one gag reel thing where like Odin's like shaking his arm, trying to like get the crow to leave, and he's just not moving. He's just like, go. There's another one where the 2 crows are supposed to land on either side of Thor, and the one crow just really wanted to be with the other crow, I guess, because like there was like 3 takes.
So they both landed on the same shoulder?
Yeah, there was one take where like they both landed on the same one. There was another one where the crow originally landed where it was supposed to, but then just like hopped across Chris Hemsworth's hands to get to the other crow.
We must be together.
Or Raven, whatever it is. Yeah.
Well, that's another thing. Like, I'm not sure if people know this, but in the comics, those are actually Odin's eyes. So like, they're like his little truth seekers around the universe that give him information. So it was nice that they put it in as like a little thing like that. I forget, did they do that?
There's also in Avengers, we said.
Did they do that in Avengers? In
Avengers, there's one shot when Thor and Loki are on that mountain. You can see like a...
That's right. And there's a crow
or Raven, whatever, behind, like looking at them.
Pretty much Odin's like, hey, forget about Jane. She's going to like die soon.
Yeah.
So just go do Civ.
What do you think of that like whole relationship with Civ and Thor? This doesn't really go anywhere.
I mean, I feel like they were kind of working up a thing before the first movie, and then Thor just like, why, yeah, and then Civ's so like, I want Thor daddy, and Thor's like, I want Jane, mommy. I don't know.
Well, let's move on from that swiftly. The actress that played Lady Civ actually hurt herself pretty badly in a stunt. She like
really.
I don't know what stunt it was. I think she slipped on, or I don't even know if it was a stunt. I think it was just early in the morning one day on set, and she slipped on like a metal sheet or something and fell, and like she cracked, I think it said 11 of her, maybe either 7 or 11 of her vertebrae.
Really?
And like a bunch of other bones, and she was out of commission for like a month, which I was like, only a month? That seems like...
Yeah, holy shit. Dude, she is a god.
Yeah, seriously.
Loki's actually a god of kindness. Civ's actually a god of war.
We also get abs Chris Hemsworth here.
Yeah, I literally had a note to say, let me just wash my abs.
Yeah, he's jacked again. This was actually, so I wanted to talk about, I read a while ago that Chris Evans in an interview, he said that often the way production works is you do all those like hero shots and like
in the beginning,
like muscly shots, at the very beginning, because as you work like every day outside doing all the stunts, like it's just so hard to continue to keep up that physique, and especially because you're running around all the time, you're doing so much cardio, you often lose a lot of mass throughout like the production, and also like it's tougher to eat right on set and everything, so they do a lot of the hero shots right at the beginning of filming, and then just like, I guess the more like a lot of padded suits towards the end.
Let me just regain my muscles with this muscle spell called extra layers. So does that mean Thor's actually like Shrek?
Like an ogre?
Yeah.
Onions. They have layers. Yeah.
So then there's his homeboy saying, another.
I like how Thor here I noticed here he doesn't have bleached eyebrows, and I was so happy.
It's weird how much better it is when it's natural.
I was like, this looks so much better. His wig also looks a lot better too.
Yeah.
That's weird that people's natural hair color looks good, huh? Then we cut to Jane on her date. How did this man get Natalie Portman? No offense, but like
poor Richard.
Like Richard, good for you, man. But like, oh, I also don't. I feel like the most unrealistic thing in this movie of like gods and like magic hammers is that Natalie Portman would struggle with dating.
I mean, there's more a person than just looks, Jake. There's personality. Maybe she looks nice, but then also is like really stupid when it comes to talking to people. I know I'm like that sometimes.
She wasn't. But Daniel, don't you remember the whole scene with magic and science and space?
Oh yeah, but
she's great at conversation.
Yeah, wow. Space. I like the
Daniel, we confirmed last time if you're hot enough, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah,
remember?
That's true.
I feel like Natalie Portman's there. Also, the contrast here in this film is like crazy. Just like going from the Dark Elves to Asgard to just a blind date scene now.
Yeah, there's a lot of jumps. Not like including in really the final fight. There's like a lot of jumps there, which I guess makes sense because of the convergence and all.
They actually said that the point of that, why they did so many jumps and stuff, is because they wanted to make an exciting third act and have some like kind of new technique, I guess, that wasn't used. And they also wanted to avoid just copying Avengers and trying to outdo that like another army thing, which I think is a very creative way to do that.
Yeah, I think it definitely worked in that aspect, but at the same time, I feel like it was, it might have been a little too much for like in the aspect of jumping. For when it comes to like the scale of like the Dark Elves and the army, I think it makes sense. But for their goal, especially with when we get to like Infinity War and stuff, like you're going to try to destroy the whole world and like all the 9 realms with only one
Whelms.
But yeah, with one Infinity Stone as compared to Thanos being able to take out barely half of life, like he almost died doing that with all 6.
Yeah, I know. The power levels of the Infinity Stones are very confusing.
Yeah. It's a movie. So, yeah, Darcy goes off.
So Darcy comes in. She says Selvig went bananas. I feel like that makes sense. Like, we were talking about Tony with his PTSD last time, but, like, that's probably Selvig's way of, like, how he didn't come out on the other side as well as Tony did. You also got to think, I think Kevin Feige pointed this out in the director's commentary, Selvig has been under the influence for almost an entire year, like, much longer than everyone else, because remember at the end of Thor 1, Loki kind of manipulated him, like, it's worth a look or whatever, when he was looking at the Tesseract with Nick Fury, and then all the way through the end of Avengers. So, like, that's a long time to be
manipulated,
like mind controlled. Yeah. So it kind of makes sense that he kind of goes crazy, like at Stonehenge.
Well, he's crazy and he's also not crazy, because like, yeah, I get he's like losing it and goes crazy at Stonehenge like that, but at the same time, like he still has his scientific ability and intelligence, which is still crazy to think about, like the way his mind is being held together like that. It's like, oh yeah, I can solve the way the universe works, but at the same time, I'm also
running around Stonehenge naked.
Yeah.
We meet Ian for the first time here,
and then Selvig streaks.
Darcy's intern.
Yeah.
So I guess Darcy took a job with Jane then?
I guess.
Like she's not an intern anymore?
Yeah, I guess. Well, no, because she says she's my intern's intern, so I guess she's still an intern, but like, I don't know.
But also, that shot of Selvig running around Stonehenge naked was the very first thing they shot.
Where did they actually film that?
They filmed that actually at Stonehenge. They had to go through a lot of restrictions. They said they had to film before the regular opening hours, so they had to film super early in the morning, and then they also like couldn't touch it. So they had to go through all these precautions to make sure no one like touched any of the actual stones. Because if you go to the actual Stonehenge, there's like it's like roped off. You're not even like allowed to go within like 20 feet of it.
That is hilarious.
I've been there. There's a picture of me somewhere online of me pretending to hop the fence. It's called comedy.
That reminds me of a photo I took. This is just a quick off-topic thing, but like I was at the Met with my friends like freshman year for like an art field trip. Yeah. Because art college.
Yeah. I know.
There's this one little statue thing from like Egypt. It's like a sphinx. It was like small and stuff like that, but it was like, it was an actual...
A small sphinx?
It was like an actual...
A sphinx?
Well, yeah, it was a sphinx, and it was actually... Like,
sphinx.
Like from Egypt and all that. So you weren't allowed to touch it. You were allowed to go up right next to it, but you can't touch it. So I'm like, hey, Alex, we need to just get a photo of us hovering our hands over it, making it look like we're touching it. Oh my
gosh, why are you like this?
So we did. We got the picture... And then a person came by and like, you're not allowed to touch it. And then we showed them a picture. We're like, we're not touching it. And they're like,
it's like the Lilo and Stitch. I'm not touching.
Yeah.
All right. back to the tank.
Yeah.
Moral of the story: don't touch historical artifacts,
Especially if you're naked.
especially if you're naked. Yeah.
So pretty much Jane and Darcy and Ian go to like where the sensors are telling them to go.
The kids actually, if right before they go inside, like the kids, you can see build like a mini Stonehenge out of like the crates
yeah.
outside, which was kind of cool, showing what humans do, kind of hinting that the convergence is why the Stonehenge was like able to be built, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then you see that, you know, that shot of the cement truck that was flipped?
Yeah. It was all CG.
That was like an actual cement truck.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah,
I
they
thought that was CG.
put it on a giant like hydraulic rig and then like flipped it, like turned it like exactly like you see it, and then they painted out the rig.
I feel like that would have been easier to do than CG, honestly.
I don't know.
But hey, whatever floats your boat.
Whatever floats your cement truck.
Ah. I said gravity goes burr, and then portal loop.
Now you're thinking with portals. The kick is a lie. I like when they like throw stuff into the portal. I like the shot when like the bottle's coming towards you and then like it disappears into the portal.
Yeah, that was a good shot.
That was pretty cool.
Also, I had another note. I was wondering if like this convergence space-time stuff works similar to the way to like Doctor Strange's magic manipulates space-time.
Ah,
You know,
Dormammu.
like it doesn't look the same because it's not the same effect.
What if they threw the bottle through one side and then Dormammu face just popped out the other side?
I've come to bargain. Bargain hunt, that is. Ooh, I love this soda brand.
What? Bargain hunt. And then that like sends him away. He's like, "You've satisfied me.
Yeah.
I'll be back for Doctor Strange."
This isn't the cherry Coke I was looking for, but it will do.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I said Jane goes whoosh.
Yeah, Jane goes off stumbles across the ether. We're like 20 minutes into the movie, I realize at this point, and we've only seen Thor for like 3 minutes at that celebration.
Yeah, that's the thing. It came through the Bifrost, did a little bit of fighting, drank a little, and he's like, "Okay, let's go follow Jane."
Yeah.
Which I guess is a unique take, you know?
I liked the practical light on Jane's face. I'm assuming it's practical, like to show the ether's power, like reflecting off of her.
Yeah.
I thought that really helped sell the effect. The CG look more into the world. Also, the sound design of the ether itself is really cool because, like again, like we said, I feel like we say this all the time with Thor, but like there's no like real world
Like reference of it, so like being able to create that.
reference or comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a cool crystal. Like it reminded me of like, did you ever watch any of the Video Copilot tutorials?
Video? No.
It just reminded me, if anyone ever looks those up, but like it reminds me, they have like a sound pack and it just reminded me of that a lot. It's like kind of like crystal, like metal, like liquidy. It's so cool. Like I really like that sound design.
What I put down here was, hey, I see a giant floating monolith. Let me just stick my hand into it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, what'd you do, Daniel, in that situation?
I would follow the bridge and be like, get me the out of here.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna have to censor that. I'm sorry, but like that's honestly
I will
that's
censor that.
that's how I would react. I'd be like, I need to get out. What is this glowy thing? You know? I'd be curious about it, but I wouldn't stick my hand in. I'd be like, why is it? I'd probably I'd at least test the monolith above first. You know, like how the heck is this floating? Like push up on it.
Yeah, like what if like you put your hand in and the monolith just fell and crushed your hand,
Exactly.
and then it was like the thing where you like saw off your hand or whatever that movie is. Was it 128 hours or something?
Yeah, something like that. Some number.
Some number hours.
Yeah. It was 1 hour. Time to cut off my hand.
It was like 5 minutes. Oh no.
But also something else I noted here was like the ether, it kind of moves like symbiotic like. When I say that, I mean like Marvel Comics symbiote.
Right.
Which is very unique and what I also liked about it.
Yeah.
Very dark, but also like, again, combining what you're saying about like fluid movements, but also like containing some rigidity. So I don't know. It was very, very cool to see.
Yeah. So once she gets infected, it awakens Mallcat or whatever, the Dark Elves.
Yes! You called him that.
I don't understand like why that wakes him up.
Yeah, no, I said the same thing. I'm like, so he just knows?
Also, later Thor goes like Jane apologizes, like this is all my fault, and then Thor goes, if you didn't find it, they would have had it all that much sooner.
Like,
no,
how?
they wouldn't have.
How
like
would
they woke
they?
up because you found it. Jane, this is all your fault. I don't know. That's just some of the plot holes in Thor.
Oh, because I was looking for you, Thor.
Yeah, blaming Thor. Oh my gosh, I'm getting mad. Natalie Portman, your hotness will not bring you through this one.
You left for 2 years. I didn't know what to do without you, so I went to look through space-time.
Okay, I was lying. Natalie Portman, your hotness will probably get you through this. But anyways,
Well, actually, if I'm being honest, there's many times throughout this film where she's like, who do you think you are?
running around chasing stars.
Oh.
Wait, literally because Thor's his face?
Yeah, I get it. Oh, no. That's bad dad joke. It's a good it's good, but it's bad. I give you kudos for that. But you know what I mean? Like, she's just like, you're super space genius and you understand about the convergence, but you're also being total dumb be, you know?
Daniel, she has science smarts, not emotional relationship smarts, I guess. Also, it's probably tough to be in a relationship
With a demigod?
with someone from another world
Or I guess a god?
that is 1,500 years old.
Yeah, wouldn't she be like a dog to him?
Does that mean in Thor's, like
Think about it.
wait, does this mean Thor, like, is dating a minor if, like, you're comparing it to Asgard age?
Technically, yeah.
That's kind of weird.
Age is just a number to Asgardians, I guess.
So what? Okay.
Maybe Odin was right.
Because wait, when you know in the first, yeah, wait a minute. You know, maybe that's why Odin's going crazy, because like in his mind, Jane is what, like 30s, which when Thor was 30, it was probably that scene in the first Thor when they're like kids and he's like, you were both born to be king. They were probably like 30 then.
Yeah, good point.
So
That's weird.
just saying. All right, let's not think too much about it.
Would that mean so wait, she's 30, he's like 1,500. Is he like 15 or 1,300? I forget.
1,500
He's like,
in if Infinity War, he says.
So he's 1,500. He's literally 50. It's like 50 even. 50 times older.
Jeez. All right. Talk about a gold digger, am I right? No, I'm just kidding. Wait, because Asgard's made of gold?
Oh, man.
That is the best joke. Oh my god.
Jeez. Okay, where were we?
Back to tank, please.
So Mallcat wakes up, and then we get Heimdall's eyes because he's like,
Wait.
Everything.
First, I want to talk about Mallcat. So it took him, I think, 3 or 4 hours to get into his dark elf makeup every morning. So he had to get there at 3 a.m.
Poor guy.
to start working at like 7.
Well, it probably took longer when he got burned too, right? Because he had to do it.
Right.
Because like he turned into Two-Face pretty much.
The comic accurate is to have that like Two-Face thing.
Yeah.
So that's how they kind of went about doing that.
I like how they went with that, but at the same time, like when it comes to the makeup, I feel like he probably was like dying.
Right. In the comics, though, he literally looks like a jester. He's like a bright red and blue cape, and they were like, maybe we shouldn't do this for the dark elf.
For those of you who are curious, just Google up Mallcat, Marvel Comics.
So do you know the little, like, the pawns of the dark elves, like, with those masks?
Yeah.
So those masks actually, like, they were specially designed so that the eye holes were slightly lower than the actor's eyes actually sat. And so they would be forced to kind of like look up so they could look straight on, because the elves, they were trying to make them look like kind of like a noble people. So they kind of forced them to like look up, and it would force them to stand tall and like kind of look more snooty and
Like uptight.
upper
Yeah.
class. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a good call.
So Heimdall and Thor, like you said, have you seen the How It Should Have Ended for this?
No, how?
I think this is the one that I talked about last time, where it was Heimdall being like, everything is good. She pays as we speak.
Oh, yeah. He's like, what? No, don't watch her.
Stop looking.
Stop looking.
But this time he's like, I can't see her.
Wait, so is Heimdall not able to, like, to see the dark elves when they wake up?
I guess so. That also makes sense why I can't see them like literally floating above Asgard.
Yeah. Here's the thing with this Thor, right? I feel like we're, 20, 30 minutes in, maybe? And there's been already so many plot holes that we've been talking about. Which is why I think this one also didn't hold up as well.
Yeah. I kind of enjoyed watching it. In the credits, I also saw my dad's college roommate's name in the credits, so I enjoyed that also.
Hey, I know that guy.
I showed all my roommates.
That guy.
Yeah. So Jane like emerges. Darcy is called the police, and Tom Hiddleston actually really liked this part because they were in England and he's English. So they actually had real English police cars. Often in like American films, they put like American police cars, which just isn't the case.
Yeah.
And also, Marvel's in the script called for like the policemen to have guns, but the crew,
They don't have guns. They usually only have batons.
said they don't have guns. Yeah, they have batons. So that's why the guy, they like had to change that like a couple days before they actually shot it. And the guy had to call like for armed backup on his like radio.
Yeah. Arm back up. Thor is here. What are you going to do?
I like the effect when it starts to rain and that like circle follows Jane.
Yeah. And then Darcy's just left in the rain. She's like,
Poor
really?
Darcy.
But also, when Thor comes in here,
Yeah.
his hair is wet. Did you notice that?
Well, maybe he was only making a circle around.
No, he also had a
Jane.
circle around him. There's a wide shot where you see that.
Wait, really?
Yeah, because the circles converge.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he just did a pre-workout or something and is really sweaty. So the shot where, she obviously slaps him. These shots where they're like close together, Natalie Portman had to stand like an apple crate, which is basically just a box in film term.
Yeah.
Because Chris Hemsworth is 6'3", Natalie Portman is only 5'3", so there's literally like a
foot
height difference. So she had to stand to be tall enough to be in the shot.
That's pretty funny.
It was actually Natalie Portman's idea she actually slapped like Chris Hemsworth, like for real. They did 30 takes of it. And at the beginning she wasn't slapping him, but it wasn't looking real. So by the end of the 30 takes, she was like going at it, slapping him. him.
And Darcy asked like how's space, and he's like, space is fine. And then I can only imagine like the meme of like the dog where like everything's burning, and he's like, this is fine, everything is fine.
Wait, literally, it did just come from like what's it called? The
Vanaheim?
Yeah, where everything was like burning.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just like, space is it's okay.
Yeah. Then the cop tries to like arrest Natalie Portman, and the ether like explodes.
Yep. Which again is also like symbiote like.
So in this shot, when they like go up the Bifrost, I like looked and I was like, oh, poor cop car. Like the big like bite was taken out of it. And then when they get to Asgard, like you see the cop car
A little bit that comes through
tumble out, and I'm all like dodge it. I thought that was so funny. That also was foreshadowing for in Thor 3 when he's like the head comes, you know?
Yeah.
Like the head of that beast is portaled up.
Yeah, like it splits all over. What's his name? The bald guy.
Butcher from The Boys.
Yeah, I still haven't seen The Boys. I want to.
It's good. Season 2 is coming out right
It
now.
looks so good. I saw this one video about that one kid who like makes the murder laser baby.
Oh my gosh.
Like he actually makes an actual laser baby. It was weird.
It's not as cool as Jack. All right, but anyways, I want to spoil The Boys. Back to the tank. So
The Bifrost here, I just noted that was like RGB PC LED strips. I'm like, that's a lot of freaking abbreviations there.
that's a lot of letters.
Yeah. But that's pretty much what it looked like. It looked like just like a bunch of strips. And I like how it changes throughout in the Thor movies. Like it's kind of looked like that from the beginning. And then like I feel like it's in Ragnarok where you really get like more of like a crystalline structure in there.
Right. You also got to think this is a different Bifrost than Thor 1. You can actually see in one of the later shots.
Yeah, exactly.
There's like a crack where it was repaired.
Which is cool to think about, like yeah, they're gods, but they also have to deal with like the physical nature of how things work.
Right.
Which shows that it's magical, but there's still a science to it.
Yeah. You also got to think I think Kevin Feige, or maybe it was maybe the director said that this is like the inverse of Thor 1 now. So like Thor was a fish out of water on Earth, and now Jane is fish out of water
In Asgard.
on Asgard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't we also get a shot or something of Starvalheim?
Yeah, I saw that like on screen. I was like, that is the most random collection of letters I've ever seen.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I tried to get him. I'm pretty sure the way I spelled it was wrong. I didn't pause.
Svartalheim.
I was just like, starve, fell.
Star.
I think there was a Heim at the end. It was a Heim or
It's Svartalheim, and
Yeah.
basically it actually translates in Icelandic to home of the Black Elves.
Oh,
So it actually isn't just random letters; it means something.
the more you know.
Yeah, but yeah, so this actually was filmed in Iceland, the Svartalheim. Then they obviously graded it to make it look more green, kind of a green brownish yellow tone.
Yeah.
And they replaced the sky to make it look more cloudy. But like they like filmed like on a volcano in Iceland, and Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston said it was like amazing to see, and like to not be like surrounded by green all the time. Like it was pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Also, speaking of the Dark Elves, I noticed they have hair, so they're breaking away from the bald villain trope that Marvel movies seem to have.
Yeah, that is true.
No baldy make anything this time.
Especially Malkat, dude. His freaking braid.
Got luscious locks.
Yeah.
Also, Game of Thrones shot in this place in Iceland too.
Oh, really?
Which like makes sense because the director worked on it. Yeah. Also, they brought on a Game of Thrones like linguistic person to create the elf language that they used.
Yeah, that's another thing I really liked here. Because usually when you see like, at least in the Marvel universe, there's like aliens and stuff like that. A lot of time they just speak English or something like that, you know?
Right.
But in this case, you actually did change it up with like different types of like the elfish tongue or.
I was trying to think, do they speak English at all? But they do, because I remember he goes, witch, to Frigga.
Well, yeah, he also has a full conversation in English, but it also just shows that there's more languages than just English in the universe, you know? Which, again, adds to like the world building, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
But yeah, then pretty much Odin just calls Jane a goat.
I love when he goes, she's mortal. Illness is her defining trait.
Yeah.
It's like roasted. I was like, too soon, Odin. COVID's like not over yet, bro.
Yeah. Well, no, that's another thing when it goes to Odin, though. It's like he's trying to keep balance, you know, value the 9 realms, and then he just goes and disses mortality. I'm like, how does that make sense? I feel like you'd have to value mortality, especially since you also experience it. Yeah, you have an extra like 5,000 years, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything ages differently, and there's different ways that the world behaves. So I feel like you'd have to value that at no matter what the scale for you to be able to rule it and maintain it.
Right.
I don't know. I just felt like that was also very childish the way he was reacting.
It was just childish in this whole thing.
Yeah.
So here we get to the Tree of Life room, and then he starts talking about like the Infinity Stones, kind of introducing that, which you were talking about earlier about like kind of building to the next Marvel thing.
Yeah.
In the commentary, Kevin Feige was like, Infinity Stones? Pretty much. He didn't say it exactly like that, but like that's kind of basically the bottom line, what he was trying to get across. This is actually probably around the time that Fat Thor and Rocket were kind of like...
We're sucking the fat out of Jane.
Yeah, there's actually... So I think There's a deleted scene. Like, I was wondering where that footage was, like, in Endgame, because I didn't remember it. There was a deleted scene I actually watched that I think they just repurposed and made it the footage for Endgame of Jane, like, standing up and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
I thought that was very smart.
Yeah. One thing I also noted that Odin said here was that the ether, it takes matter and then converts it into dark matter, which, if it's the reality stone, I guess in some way makes sense. But it would be, like, I guess on a physical scale, you'd have to take it, convert something to dark matter, right? Which would be the negative form of it. And then somehow reconfigure it back into matter for it to be a new reality, but it wouldn't be an actual... like, it wouldn't be able to stay that way. Like, so, for example, what I'm thinking of, like, is an Infinity War when Thanos goes to get it, right?
Yeah.
And he's able to, like, change Drax and Mantis, and then when he leaves, it doesn't stay.
Right.
I feel like that's how that makes sense. Because it's like,
Okay.
you're converting their matter into something else, but their actual state is still alive.
Somewhere. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
So I thought that was, like, a cool lead-in from that.
Yeah. We also here get to see Loki with his pretty nice prison suite.
Yeah, these dungeons are very bougie, you know? They're very, like, fancy. Like, not just Loki's, like, all of them. They're all, like, nice, white, and then...
Yeah. This is the first scene that Tom Hiddleston actually shot, was this prison scene of him talking to his mom.
Talking to his mom, that's not actually his mom.
And you see here that Frigga is the one that taught him all of his magic. It kind of makes sense that, so Thor and Odin were, like, kind of, for lack of a better term, like, meatheads, and, like, kind of had their brute strength and their good looks and everything that kind of, like, set them ahead. It was kind of implied that in Loki's childhood, he was kind of like the runt almost, and so, I mean, he literally was the runt of the Frost Giants.
He
but
was.
Frigga kind of took him under her wings and taught him her magic to kind of give him a step up. So she's kind of had a special place, which makes her death later even more impactful to him. Also, you got to think, like, Loki is pinning his mom's death on himself.
Yeah, because he helped.
Yeah, he told the curse to go up the stairs to the left, which led eventually
To her dying.
to his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he is very distraught over that, which you see. They explain the convergence for, like, the third time. I feel like if your like main plot device, you just explain it a million times, like, it's not a good plot device.
Yeah. Pretty much the guy gets the little glowy gem thing into his abdomen, and then he gets taken by the Asgardians, and he's brought into...
Taken by Liam Neeson?
Oh my goodness.
We haven't heard that one in a while.
Liam Neeson just is in one of the jail cells.
Did I say taken by Liam Neeson? It's not like a book he wrote.
Yeah.
But anyway, so when that curse guy, before he's cursed, is, like, coming in, you see Loki, like, flipping, like, the like, glass up. And they actually decided to do that on the day. It's a reference to Great Escape and, like, a Steve McQueen nod, they said.
Lightning McQueen?
No, Steve McQueen.
Kerchow.
He actually missed it once, he said, like, when he was throwing it, and, like, it just came and fell on his face. The prison riot pretty much starts here. Curse Boy becomes Cursed Boy.
Yep, he goes sicko mode.
I really like the shot of Thor, like, running and, like, like, barrel rolling, catching his hammer, and then, like, flying off.
Yeah, that was a really good shot.
Yeah.
But then also there's a shot where Siv, like, sees Jane, and she's like, the other woman!
Oh, yeah.
You know? So I thought that was kind of funny.
I also like how Frigga, like, steals a guard's sword. I feel bad for that guy when he goes to pull out his sword.
Because he goes in the battle, and he's just like, oh,
Yeah.
where's my sword? Ah, I'm dead. You know?
Yeah.
They're all dead anyway, though. It doesn't really matter.
Oh, and then one of my most favorite parts is when Heimdall
He just yeets himself.
takes down the ship like a boss.
Yeah, dude. Imagine if he missed the jump.
I cannot emphasize that enough.
He just went for it.
I also guess, like, after that first ship, like, went in stealth, they just gave up on stealth and just sent everyone.
Yeah, well, no, then there's the big ship, and I wrote down, there's always a bigger fish.
Speaking of Qui-Gon.
And then also something else I found cool was, like, these black hole grenades. Amazing.
I love those. They spent so much time doing that VFX, like, developing that effect. I think it took them a year to get that exactly right.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Also, I'm wondering, like, why aren't these, like, ships, like, 5,000 years old?
Yeah.
Like, how are they, like, better than current Asgardian technology?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Unless they, like, took a pit stop to, like, upgrade everything.
Well, no, I don't think they... no. Because, like, who would help them?
I don't know. Maybe they, like, found a dwarf and, like, told him he'd kill all the brothers if they didn't.
They pulled a Thanos before Thanos.
Yeah, he sees Thanos coming, he's like, oh, not again.
Yeah, I don't know, actually. That's actually a good point.
So, Mallcat destroys Odin's throne. That was actually his first day filming. He felt like it was a great way to, like, assert himself as a villain, just destroying Odin's throne.
Let me just blow this up here real quick.
This throne room actually was the same stage. Like, it was the same stage that they filmed the Hydra base in, and it was also the same stage that the Star Wars medal ceremony in Episode 4 was filmed in.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh, that's cool.
Just shows you, like, how amazing set decorating.
Can change it.
Like how far that can go.
Yeah. Where are we now?
Frigga starts fighting Mallcat.
Yeah, she's a bad A.
I feel like if the curse didn't come, like
she would have ended him.
Malachi would have died.
She would have. Yeah, dude. Mallcat would have been a road meat. Okay.
Mallcat, he's evolving. Road meat.
But then Big Boy comes in. But then Frida goes whoosh. She dies.
This is the start of where Thor starts to lose everyone that continues through Infinity War.
Yeah, his death snowball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the start of Thor's crazy summer that we talked about.
Dude, Thor's just like, so it starts with you. Then it goes to Dad.
Yeah.
Then it goes. Well, it technically started with Loki, but wasn't actually Loki. And then it goes to his mom, and then it goes to Loki again, but it's not actually Loki.
Freaking Loki. Loki's like, someone can't steal the show from me.
Yeah. And then it goes to his dad, and then it goes to
Hela.
Yeah, I guess that.
Hela, I guess. I don't know if you really care about her. Then Heimdall.
Yeah.
Well, no, first half his people, then Heimdall.
Yeah, and then Loki again, but like actually this time.
Yeah. Then half the universe.
Yeah, and then he gets fat and plays Fortnite.
So he turned it around, is what I'm hearing.
He's just hanging on, man. He's just hanging on.
But he met Korg and the Scissor Hands man. I don't know.
Chip.
I thought it was like Meep or something.
No, it is Meep. It is Meep.
Where'd you get Chip from?
I don't know.
It's like Chip from Beauty and the Beast, just with like full cartoon. But anyways, back to the tank. So we get a really cool Viking funeral.
Yeah.
The director, Alan Taylor, actually wanted to be the archer that shot the flaming arrow because he is an archer. And he spent half a day in costume, but they kind of got behind on production. So he's just like directing in like the archer's costume. But they then ran out of time. And also the producer said they couldn't insure him. So he was not the archer.
But yeah, no, it was really cool when Odin was like, bonk, and then like she just started floating and turning to like a particle effect. It kind of actually reminded me of the funeral for the Ravagers.
Oh yeah, I thought you were gonna say Tony Stark. I was like, how?
No, for like with Yondu.
Yeah.
And like he turns into like the particles, and then there's like all the fireworks and stuff too. It's like kind of like the same way, but also different.
And Rocky was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is actually like pretty much the exact midpoint of the film, and it's with Frigga's death, which is a good turning point. But it's Loki's absolute like rock bottom, pretty much, because he thinks his mom's death is his fault, which it kind of is.
Yeah.
And it's his chance to like decide if he wants to reflect and change a little here, which like it's kind of, you don't really know if he did or not.
I mean, I feel like he started to, but like he's not going towards good yet. You know what I mean? Like he's definitely changed.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's realized that there's more to life than just
Mischief.
Yeah.
Mischief managed.
Like he still wants to rule, which is why he like takes over from Odin, because he makes Odin go away.
Yeah. I want to see the part where Loki took Odin to like that retirement home that we see is destroyed.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, how does that go down?
Like, think about it. That happened in this movie.
Yeah. So we also see Selvig here explaining the alignment again, and it's with Stanley's shoe. We get his nice little cameo.
Can I have my shoe back?
Oh, I also love the shot of when Loki's told that like his mom's dead, like that, like just he's calm, and then like that little outburst. That shot also, it's like the frame is like, it's the frame, and then you see his cell. So he's literally like a frame within a frame, just to emphasize his sense of isolation. Like that's a really good cinematography trick.
Frame in a frame, like actual camera work. Yes.
Frameception.
Yeah. I mean, that's like an actual camera technique. Frame within frame.
Technique.
So that's a good catch. That's a good catch.
Thanks.
So pretty much we see Jane, and she like goes to like this dark Asgard, like from what she's seeing.
Yeah, she's an ether vision.
Yeah, so she's starting to get affected by it.
So they start hatching a plan.
Oh man, I'm not asking you to go against Odin. I'm just asking you to commit treason of the highest order.
Yeah.
That's what he literally asked
fine.
Heimdall.
When they go to get Loki, it looks like his foot is bleeding, but he just stepped on a berry.
Yeah.
Like he's such a diva.
Oh no, this berry! My mother's dead! Ugh!
I also feel like Marvel knows that it's all about Loki. Like in the Disney Plus, the behind the scenes clips, 5 of like the 11 behind the scenes clips
Or Loki.
are dedicated to Loki. It's like A Brother's Journey Part 1, A Brother's Journey Part 2, Loki the God of Mischief, the God of Mischief. And I was like, why? There was literally one called Loki the God of Mischief and one was called God of Mischief. And I was like, what?
Why?
What?
Oh man.
I don't know. But yeah, Thor is like done. He does not have residual feelings for Loki. Like if he betrays him, he will end him.
He still does, but he doesn't. Like, he knows what he has to do in case he goes off.
Yeah.
But he still like he says it later, like when they're on the little ship thing. He's like, I wish I could still trust you, brother. And even when he sacrifices himself, like he's straight up mourning his brother. He's like, I'll tell father what you did, you know, and all that. So he obviously still cares, but he doesn't want to care.
We also get Loki shape-shifting down this hallway. I really like this scene.
Oh, yeah.
It also introduces that guard that he turns into, but then he turns into Captain America, like we see Chris Evans. Chris Evans was still filming Winter Soldier when this was happening, and Chris Evans did a full day on Winter Soldier, then after the fact came to Thor set and shot this scene. So it was like a really long day, but like Chris Evans said he had a ton of fun because like he says he felt like every time he's playing Captain America he has to repress just being like super like patriotic, like America, all that stuff, and he got to just do that when he was Loki, because Loki would do that. Yeah. So the way they did this, they had Loki, like Tom Hiddleston, film the scene first, and then Chris Evans watch him and kind of mimic
how he would do it
with his own flair.
Yeah.
And Tom Hiddleston said he loved doing it, and like he the suit fit like a glove, he said, and like he just had a really good time.
Wait, he wore the suit as well?
Yes, yeah. And you could see it in the behind the scenes on Disney Plus. You could see him in the suit, like walking around with.
Oh man, I want to watch that now.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Jane punches Loki.
Yep.
She actually punched Tom Hiddleston. Like again, just like not letting back.
Dude, she doesn't care. After she lost Annie, she was just like, time to punch Loki. It's time for me to just murder everybody. I'm gonna be the new Senate. I am the Senate.
Well, she's gonna be the new Thor now too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Was it honestly? I'm kind of curious to see how they go around with that. You know, it's gonna be different.
I love the Loki Thor banter when they get in the ship, like literal like sibling like rivalry.
Like, I thought you said you knew how to fly this thing. I said, how hard could it be?
Also, this might be like why Thor like knows flying spaceship isn't the worst thing in the world, and why he like tells Banner like use one of your PhDs, like you can figure it out in Thor 3.
Yeah, on it because he did do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of funny. The thing about that.
It's Tom Hiddleston also said that the scene inside the ship was like completely static, so they had to like
imagine all the like the HUD.
Imagine everything, and well, there actually wasn't supposed to be a HUD. Like they originally shot it that it was just like cutting to outside to inside, and Kevin Feige said that it was really like just weird and like felt too static, so someone at the VFX department had the idea of having like the HUD of like showing the things whooshing by, and that helped.
Yeah, which is weird because it looked a lot honestly kind of like Tony's like simulated HUD, you know, like with Jarvis.
Yeah,
but like at the same time it was different.
Right.
So I don't know. Tony's smart enough to be an alien ship designer? Probably.
So when they're flying the ship, he actually cuts off the head of like his grandfather. And actually that's kind of a reference to like his grandfather's statue. That's kind of a reference to in the comics, Thor actually does in one issue decapitate like his actual grandfather because like Loki tricks him somehow.
Really?
I don't know the exact storyline or how that happens, but it happens.
That'd be so... I feel like that's similar to like that one storyline where Wolverine kills like the entire X-Men. Yeah. That's dark.
Yeah. So they go...
Oh, wait. Quick note, because this is going to come up again. I read this thing earlier where this has nothing to do with Thor. I just thought it's funny because...
What?
No, just listen, because it's Wolverine. So there was this note about how Marvel actually was able to sell like X-Men toys for cheaper because they didn't have to have them. They argued that they were not humans, so they didn't have to do like this weird human character price whatever thing.
Oh.
So they were able to make those.
That's smart.
Make and sell those toys for cheaper. And then there was like a comment that said, "This is exactly the kind of shit that Magneto was pissed about."
Yeah, this.
There's no equality. So I just thought that was funny. Anywho, Thor.
Thor pushes Loki off the ship, and they go onto a secret boat, flying to a secret tunnel.
And then there's also secret ropes.
It literally is through the mountain.
Yeah, it is through the mountain.
Oh my gosh.
And then we get Levi doing his little swing thing, and then farewell when he could have totally like gone with them in case he needed to, you know?
I feel like this scene also shows Thor getting smarter as like a leader. Like he's not brute forcing. Like
he actually came up with a plan.
Actually had strategy, and he didn't like tell Loki about it. He didn't know if he could trust him, which is very smart.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. Actually, at this part, the director's daughter was 9 years old and was casted to play Loki in her school play, and Tom Hiddleston like recorded a video for her, like giving her advice, and sent it to her.
Here's how to be.
So that was very nice.
An evil bitch.
he said that Loki just loves to have fun and just have fun with everything. That's like what you got to do.
Literally me as the Grinch.
Even in the chaos. Yeah. I love when they fly through. Ta-da. And then this scene is really good with Loki and Thor arguing about Frigga's death. Like they just keep getting closer and closer to the frame. frame. And like if you would overlay the frames on top of each other, they would just like be getting closer and closer to the middle, like getting all up in each other's space, which is like really good screen direction.
Until they kiss.
No. This actually, Kevin Feige said they had giant fans blowing in their faces to have like the wind blowing.
Yeah.
So like they couldn't use any of the audio. So all of the audio in that scene is like
Was dubbed. Wow.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell.
Which is really impressive. Yeah, I had no idea.
That's pretty good.
Credit to the sound mixers and also the actors' performances.
Yeah.
Because that's tough to do when you're not in that environment. Next, we cut to Selvig, and Kevin Feige brought up a good point. Like, you really start to like kind of like Loki again, but every time we cut to Selvig, it's a reminder of what Loki did in Avengers and like how he's like ruined this man's
life,
mental ability almost.
Yeah.
So like it's very interesting juxtaposition.
No, but I think it's a good point. It's like you want to believe that he's changing, but at the same time, it's hard to forget the consequences of the actions he had in the past. So yeah. I think that would be a good way to cut that. I think that's actually one relationship they handled well.
Yeah.
So yeah, they go sign him out of the mental place.
Darcy picks up Selvig, and then the birds go crazy. I would hate that.
Yeah, dude, I would go.
I hate birds.
But again, we were talking about like earlier how he was taken by for like a year. And like he makes a comment, I've had a god in my brain. I don't recommend it. You know?
Yeah.
Which it's weird to think about because it's like, was it really Loki or was it really more the Mind Stone?
Oh, that's interesting.
You know what I mean?
But the Mind Stone like is good in Jarvis, in Vision, whatever.
Well, it's manipulating Vision a little bit. I'm not sure if it was like directly causing it in Vision as it is in Selvig. Because like Loki was using it, yes, but he was using it directly on Selvig, right?
Right.
Like think of it like this. Like you could have a soldering iron, right? Pushed against your head.
I would hate that.
I know. Or you can have the handle stuck on your head and you have like a soldering iron and it's like you're a unicorn. So like you still have a soldering iron on your head, but and it will affect you, obviously.
That'd be awesome. You could just like put your head down to anything and like solder anything.
Exactly. You know, that's Vision.
Wow.
I don't know why he's a soldering iron.
All right. Back to the tank. So the actor that played Selvig, he said, you know how he like has all these pantsless scenes and like naked scenes and stuff?
Yeah.
He like wasn't sure if he was going to be able to do this. So he like practiced, he said, by like walking around his apartment like naked all day. And he was like, oh yeah, I can do this. But yeah, so then Malachi and
Malkat?
Loki and Thor face off. Yeah. We've got this little whole like scheme. I love this. When I first saw Loki cut off Thor's arm, I thought it was real. I was like, what?
I think everybody, because there's also a thing in the comics where Thor loses his arm.
Yeah.
Not like out of his forearm right there. Like he loses like his whole arm.
Right, and he gets like a metal one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought they might be trying to go like a subset of that route. We haven't seen Winter Soldier yet, right? That hasn't happened yet. So I guess they wouldn't.
We have not.
So it'd be weird if I feel like it would be weird if they did that, if they actually did cut off Thor's arm, because it would have been like the same arm, both metallic. So
yeah,
if they were going to cut off his arm, I feel like that would have been the way to do it.
Yeah. But Natalie Portman gets de-etherified. It's actually a really cool visual. And so Natalie Portman actually wasn't there in Iceland when they were filming this. So like everyone was just looking up at nothing, which was kind of tough, Tom Hiddleston said.
Huh.
She was like on a plate. I think they filmed it either in London or somewhere else because they had to have like special wiring to like
lift her
hold
up.
her, like suspend her like that. This whole sequence was shot over 4 weeks. And there was like the wides were shot in Iceland, the close-ups were shot in a stage in the United Kingdom, and some of the other close-ups were shot in California. So it was like a huge puzzle, but like you would never know. It's crazy how they put it together.
Yeah, like how they just mashed it together. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I pretty much just said that Malkat drinks the cherry Coke.
Yes. The end. That'd be a very, like, we should do like bad movie reviews. Like there's a mall cat and he wants cherry Coke and a mean man stops him from having it with a hammer.
Mean blonde man. Yeah. Hammers him to death. Hammer time.
Yeah. There was like a ton of wind in Iceland and they actually like in the gag reel, Thor's cape kept getting tangled like in his face. They actually do like a Dragon Ball Z like reference. I've never seen Dragon Ball Z, but like Thor does a one pose, like Chris Hemsworth does a pose in the behind the scenes, and then Tom Hiddleston like does the other pose, and it's like an exact copy of the Dragon Ball Z thing apparently.
What, of like Goku and Vegeta?
Daniel, I just said I have not seen Dragon Ball Z.
That's why I said it. I have only seen like a couple episodes here and there.
I love that Loki saves Jane.
Yeah.
I just want him to be good so bad.
But you never know.
And Thor just gets the tar beaten out of him. I have that note written, and then I just like
the tar.
Yeah.
Why the tar?
You never heard that?
Never in my life.
You can get the tar beat out of you.
The tar?
Yes.
Like rubber tar? Like shit.
Hold on a second, Logan.
Are you asking Logan if he's heard of it?
Have you heard get the tar beaten out of you. That phrase.
I don't think so.
What?
See?
Look, I'm looking it up right now on idioms by the Free Dictionary.
Okay, Jake, just because it's an idiom doesn't mean it's a widely used one.
I've not heard a lot of phrases, so it's not that surprising.
Yeah, Logan doesn't understand English, okay? It's fine.
He's just a rocket scientist, you know? No biggie.
Yeah, no biggie.
Can't do the English, but can definitely know the rocket. Well, I can't do the English anymore. But yeah, I've never heard that, Jake.
That is a thing.
It's not. Get the cherry Coke beat out of you.
I like how Loki comes and saves Thor, and then you think he gets stabbed, whatever. Avenges his mom.
Yeah.
Blows him up. This was Tom Hiddleston's one of his favorite days on set, he said. His death scene. And just his freaking theatrics. Like, he's got to have a crazy death scene. The color's fading out of his face. Have you seen the How It Should Have Ended for this, where Jane kicks him in the balls to make sure he's actually dead?
Make sure he's real. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing I want to think about, though. Like in Endgame, when, like, Loki escapes in 2012, right?
Yeah.
How is, like, Thor's not able to go to him then, because he's gone with the Tesseract, right? So
Yes.
Jane's still going to go find the Reality Stone, right?
Yes.
Then all the Dark Elves and all that stuff's still going to happen, but he won't be able to direct the boy up to his mother. So she could still be alive, but she could still die. Either way, Jane still probably gets the cherry Coke sucked out of her. But then Thor has to go find them, but he can't, because there's no other way off world.
Well, then they probably just would have attacked and destroyed the rest of Asgard because they were above.
True.
Anyways, back to the take. So they find that cave that Jane miraculously gets service in. I can't get service in my basement, but Jane's on another planet and can get service. It just makes me mad.
Yeah.
This was actually, this scene, that like service thing was the idea of the Thor 1 writer, Don Payne.
Mm-hmm.
He started working on this and then he sadly passed away, and this film is actually dedicated to him.
Big sad.
Yeah. But I think it's the moment with Thor getting jealous is pretty funny.
Who's Richard?
Yeah.
Richard was just trying his best, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta feel for Richard, you know? But at the same time, Jane's literally with a god on another planet. You can't compete, dude. I'm sorry, man. You're just another piece of sand.
And we know how Natalie Portman feels about sand. We get Hemsworth putting Mjolnir on
the little
the
hanger
coat rack.
thing. Yeah.
That was actually improv. Like, Chris Hemsworth was just messing around on set one day, like, and hung it up, and everyone was like, "That's really funny. Like, we should put that in the film." I love also Selvig. Loki's dead. Oh, thank goodness.
I mean, I'm so sorry.
And he's like, "Oh wait."
He
Yeah.
also has no pants in this shot.
And then we also see Loki tell Odin, like, go back to Asgard and tell Odin that
they
like
found Loki
died,
yeah.
and he like can't hold back a smile. Like, the guard like giggles to himself.
He's like, haha, Odin, only if you knew it was me. Because it's me.
But if he just gave himself up, and then the next scene he's just back in prison.
And Loki's like, nothing, I'm just a god. Aha.
Did he say guard or god? You'll never know.
Are all Asgardians gods?
I don't know.
Like, what's the scale for that, you know?
I don't know. But anyways, so back on Earth, they find out it's Greenwich or whatever, and they start hammering in those rods, and the ship flies down, which is a really cool shot, like showing the scale of that ship.
Yeah. Well, no, this is what I wanted to bring up about the 500 versus 5,000 thing, right? Because it's like,
Right.
they have Greenwich, which for people that don't know, it's actually the longitude 0, which is kind of funny.
Yes, that was the point.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige said that.
Was because, it's literally the world center of, like, the world center. Because of, like, the life tree and all, or life world tree. Like, Greenwich wasn't really, like, a thing until the Palace of Placentia. And that was constructed in, like, 15th century. So, that's, like, 500 years ago. But they're making the whole point where they're like, oh, the ancients would have made marks about where to go. And, like, he marks Stonehenge, which is obviously, like, around that time. But, like, all the other ones, I'm like, how does that make sense time-wise?
Yeah, I like how they're like the pyramids, Stonehenge, the Mayans, and then they like draw on a map that's just the UK. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm like, how does that work?
I understand Stonehenge, but also like, where are these points coming from? I don't know.
Yeah, so
why do you think the third act is so underwhelming?
One, I think is underwhelming because of the way it's paced.
Okay.
Not only with like the jumping from world to world, but also the cutting back between like Jane and like
between epic Thor and then like, we gotta get the rods in.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I feel like that could have been handled much better, especially since the way that they use the rods is how they defeat him.
Well, that actually wasn't the original idea. The original idea to defeat him was actually they were going to have Thor call lightning from each of the portals, so like each of the 9 realms, and lightning bolt him. But they were like, that doesn't make sense, and also like that means that Jane would have no purpose.
Well, she doesn't have a purpose. I mean,
she's like the inciting incident that starts.
Yeah, exactly. That's
the ether
and the love interest.
What do you mean that's it? That's the film.
I just don't like Jane in this movie.
I think it's because we don't really know the plan or goal of either side. Like, I don't understand what they're trying to do.
Well, that as well. Like they say, oh, we're gonna use the reality gem to destroy the world, but like, what does that mean?
They said like make it into darkness. I think they like want to revert it back to like the Big Bang.
Are they gonna like attack all the suns? Or are they like, well, no, like honestly, like you could do that, right? You could be like change reality to a time, which I guess would be arguable with like the time gem. But to, like before there was like, the Big Bang, like you said, you could take out all the things that are in reality, take out all the suns and the galaxies and stuff like that. That way there's no light.
I think that would throw off a lot of things.
Exactly, it would. So the world would go into disarray and there would be no light, so you couldn't see anything unless you had like artificial like us.
Don't worry, I've got a flashlight.
So there's like a lot of ways that could have been interpreted, but it wasn't really clearly defined. That's what, again, going with the contrast between Thanos. His goal is made clear. I want to take out half the life in the universe.
Yeah, his goals were very clear.
Boom. You know what he's doing, and you know what
Boom.
like levels and means he's trying to get to
Roasted.
to make that happen.
Yeah.
This guy's just like, I've been asleep for 5,000 years. I'm apparently a space bad A. I'm going to steal this one thing and then use it. Oh, also the timing is perfect because the convergence is happening like right now.
Yeah, seriously.
Which is arguable because it's like, okay, Jane was...
Because that's what pulled...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
whatever.
yeah, again, there's like all these plot devices that are just like, they're either just happening to happen or it's just, there's a lot of holes.
Also, I feel like these portals are all over the place. Like, I feel like people probably just randomly would walk into them or like drive into one that just popped up.
How many people died because they walked through a portal?
How many people just like appeared in space somewhere?
Yeah, and like nobody's noticing it, and they're just like, no, there had to have been people that like went through by accident,
Yeah. But anyways, let's get back to the third act. I really like the double shot of the two shot of the hero and the villain like approaching each other.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That was good.
This is actually the original reveal of the new Thor costume because they were filming actually like on location, and so the public were like taking pictures, and Kevin Feige was thankful because thankfully like the public got a good picture of the costume and people liked it.
Yeah, so it was good to get help from the public.
They actually said at this point, I think Jane said like there's 7 minutes till the convergence, and that's actually like it was pretty spot on like with the timing. So that's impressive because usually in films it's atrocious with that. It's like 30 seconds and then like, 10 minutes later. Yeah.
But no, I agree. The timing they handled well with that, but the overall pacing was atrocious.
Yeah. I liked the gag with Mjolnir flying across space, like when he goes through a portal to try to get back to Thor.
Yeah, no, that's actually one thing I really like about this is like not only is it like a gag, but at the same time it also like makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was actually good.
I feel like there's another Thor trope with Thor's face getting smushed against glass. In Thor 1, he's smushed against the hospital door, the glass door. In this one, he's smushed against the dome. And then in Thor 3, like when he falls on the bottom of Valkyrie's ship.
Yeah.
That's a trope apparently. Thor actually went through 30 costumes. Like Chris Hemsworth went through 30 costumes because
really
they all got torn. Like he was doing like a majority of his own stunts, which Tom Hiddleston like praised him for because like that like amount of endurance is insane to do that like all day every day, all those stunts.
Yeah, jeez.
Good for him. The Jotunheim Rancor thing comes to Earth.
Yeah, I just called it the Frost Lizard Dog.
That's a cool callback.
Yeah.
I like how Ian lifts the car too to save
Darcy.
So all right, so Kevin Feige told a cool story here actually. So the cast, like one of the art directors made a poster for each cast member that like never got released to like for marketing or anything, just for them to keep. It's like a custom poster, and for each like cast member they put their character in the center and then the rest of the cast surrounding them. For Ian's, he put Ian like holding the car above his head for his poster.
I am Ian. Oh,
yeah.
funny. And then they do like the name game thing where it's like
I love that. Darcy, Jane, Ian, Selvig, Bamnam,
Yeah.
SpongeBob.
It's just like in Shrek, where they're just like Fiona, Shrek, Harold, Donkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another little moment of humor with Thor in the subway. That's another thing. These moments of humor. Alan Taylor said that he went to see Avengers. Like the director said he went to see Avengers with his 2 young daughters. And they just said they absolutely loved the comedy moments. Like they thought it was just going to all be action and kind of be boring for them. So because of that like moment with his daughters, he knew that he needed to make sure that there was like a funny tone, which I think helped this movie a bit and helped it really fit in more with the MCU.
Yeah, it definitely did.
It could have been like a lot worse if they didn't have humor.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like it it being here didn't really work well.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like everything's so intense.
Yeah.
So the next shot when Thor's like, we can't stop him or whatever, and then like he gets handed those 3
spikes.
Jane hands him the 3 spikes. So that was actually, there were 3 elements to that shot. The background was taken actually from Greenwich, obviously. Chris Hemsworth was in Hong Kong.
Oh, geez.
When they shot that. And then Jane and Selvig were in Los Angeles. And they're like, I had no idea. Like, it looks so good. That just that crazy.
Yeah, it looked like a clean handoff and everything. Yeah.
Those comps were really good.
So then pretty much there's
Thor goes in.
the Jerry Coke vortex.
What was the plan before like these spikes? Like was
I don't know.
I don't understand. I think it was to keep them busy.
Yeah,
Keep them
just
busy
distract
for
them.
like 8
yeah,
minutes.
I guess. But like
That's a bad plan.
Thor throws these spikes into him, right? And then she just knows, 1, which one it is, and 2, like,
Yeah, seriously. What if she teleported the ones that Thor was holding?
and then he's the one that gets like torn apart.
De-armed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how does she know?
It's like maybe it's like the Eye of the Hurricane thing.
Impale sensors?
They like vanished when he went into the storm, but maybe he was in like the eye of the storm, and then like she got service for a second. I know that's like a dumb explanation, but maybe it's something.
I feel like that would have probably been the best and only explanation possible for that. Other than like
Well, you're welcome that I just gave it to you.
other than like sensors on the spikes telling you like, hey, we're implanted or something like that, you know?
Yeah, which I know Selvig did not think up.
No. Another thing I put here was like the polar bears, you know, from like the Coke commercials. They'd be so mad. So much cherry Coke just wasted.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, just a waste.
I like the I've come to accept your surrender callback.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. And I do like that they changed the ending that he needed Jane to win. Like, I feel like that tied it together better than it could have been with the other ending.
Yeah. I feel like, I agree. Like, Jane definitely needed to have more importance. So I feel like this brought her back, at least in my eyes here.
Yeah.
Not necessarily as a character, but more as just like having purpose in this film.
Right.
So yeah, I agree with that.
That's the last shot, though, of like Thor hammering the last stake in, the like last javelin.
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool shot.
I put in, technically he could still be alive because I forgot about the shot
I
later.
feel like he wouldn't have died with that, even with that ship falling on him.
No, I feel like he would have died from that.
With the ether still inside of him?
Was it still inside of him?
Yes.
How?
It just got teleported, like, with him. The ether was still on what's it called? That planet, Svarthol, whatever, Sparkleheim or whatever.
Well, here's the thing. How did they get it later on then and give it to the collector?
They went to the planet, like the Warriors 3 went to the planet to get it.
And how would they have gotten it if he was still alive?
Well, I mean, I know obviously he died, but like I'm saying he shouldn't have been like I feel like that wouldn't have killed him, like realistically.
I feel like he died and then they either he died
Like he survived the teleport,
like-
like all of his limbs being disassembled.
or he died or he didn't die. I agree with you. He could have not died, but then when the Warriors got there, it's not like he could really do anything unless he like used a gem. So then he
I feel like the ether could have like I don't
well,
know.
yeah, but then, you know, that that doesn't make Thor look badass anymore.
Whatever. There's also a cool piece of history here with one of the buildings. So one of the buildings, England specifically requested not to be destroyed because there was like a big fire in England centuries ago. Actually, when I was in London, they kind of showed us some buildings and history about it. And this building was one of the only buildings that like survived in that fire. And it's like known for that. So they wanted to kind of continue that even in this fictional world of like, oh, look, even in Thor's battle, like this building still stands kind of thing.
That's cool.
So I thought that was kind of a cool piece of history.
Yeah. Neat.
Must be like a really strange couple of days for Jane, going from this crazy adventure to like eating shreddies.
From going on a date with Richard to then, going on this crazy adventure with her, I guess, technically ex-boyfriend. That's also a god. And they get back together.
Ex-godfriend.
But then, like, you know, because of you, his mom dies and he's kind of mad at you, but like not really because of that.
We just went over Thor 2.
I know,
You
I'm
don't
just-
have to go over it again.
I'm just saying.
It is a lot. I know.
It's like...
So Shreddies. Let me talk about Shreddies. Tom Hiddleston talked about Shreddies in his director's commentary. He said it's a famous English cereal, and he grew up on it. That was the cereal they were eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then didn't you say like this wasn't Jane or this wasn't Natalie Portman at the end? It was
What?
it's his wife because they had the kiss or something like that. And she was doing like another job somewhere. Didn't you say that last time or was that for another thing?
That might have been here. I don't know.
Okay.
I think there was some incident where like Natalie Portman couldn't do a kiss in Thor. Maybe it was one of the scenes here. Chris Hemsworth's wife just put on a wig and then they kissed on screen.
Yeah.
Then we get the conversation between Thor and Loki, or Thor and you think is Odin.
Yeah.
This twist like really got me at the end. I was like, what? But you can see his like facade, like that he's holding up almost splinters when Thor mentions Frigga, which I think is kind of interesting.
But at the same time, it can be played off because Odin, you know, it's his wife.
Right, because Odin would also be feeling something about
Yeah.
Frigga. Yeah. This conversation actually, this was shot again with Chris Hemsworth in Hong Kong, and then Anthony Hopkins was in Los Angeles. Just
It's crazy.
another good editing and crazy compositing. Yeah, but also this is just impressive acting on Anthony Hopkins' parts. You got to think it's Anthony Hopkins, is pretending to be Loki, who's pretending to be Odin, you know?
Yeah, so it's like you can't fully be your character. You have to be like a character that's with it. It's characterception.
Yeah.
But overall, I think for being Loki trying to act as Odin, I think he did very good. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Man, I thought that was Odin just like talking, and now it's just like, oh no, it's Loki actually covering himself.
I feel like the scene works very well because like when you're viewing it as a first time viewer, you don't think like it's not Odin, but if you view it again knowing it's Loki, you're like oh my gosh, like this makes sense. And that's very difficult to do. I think Kevin Feige said they wanted to make sure they got that right, and I think they did.
Yeah, no, that was very solid. That's probably one of the most solid things out of this film, honestly. Again, like how they handled Loki and his transition into that position.
I mean, this is like the culmination of, I feel like, Loki's films. At the beginning, he wanted to be king, and now he's king. Like, his trilogy, like, he's done it. Like, good for him.
It's very weird way of doing it, but, you know, I made it happen.
Also, like, Loki probably would have been king anyways if he was just a good son, because Thor doesn't even want the throne anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, dude, just chill your balls.
Chill your Infinity Stones, man. Speaking of Infinity Stones, we get the post-credits with Benicio del Toro as the Collector.
There's so many things in this scene, which is amazing.
This was shot by James Gunn,
yeah,
who obviously directed Guardians. This little sequence was directed by him. He's also, Benicio del Toro obviously did like a lot of other things, but he's also the collector, or not the collector, the guy in episode 8 that sells them out to the Empire.
Yeah.
Or First Order, whoever the
heck.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about, yeah. Yeah, no, he's in a lot.
Then post credits, this is where Thor sees Jane.
Yeah, they do the kiss thing.
They kiss. That might have been the kiss with his wife, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But then we also see the Rancor still
he's just running around.
Kicking about.
What do you think has been done about that Rancor? Do you think...
That's what I was going to ask you that. I was like, where's this guy been?
Do you think he went away during like the snap?
During the snap?
And then
that's what I was going to ask too.
And then he came back?
Dude, what if like he went away during this snap, like, and he's like been in hiding, and then like in those 5 years, people found like his hideout and like colonized it or whatever, built houses or something, and then like he just appears when Hulk brings everyone back.
That'd be so terrible. It's like the house you just built and it's just gone because like he just spawns inside of it.
Yeah. All right. So also, I think I talked about this before, but Tom Hiddleston going to Comic-Con in character. Did I talk about that before on this podcast?
I think you did.
I think I said it was for Avengers, but it was actually for this film when he goes out and like silences the crowd. It was crazy. He said, because his first Comic-Con was in 2010, and then like 3 years later, maybe it was even 2 years later, he like goes out. He said, "The time is now," and I was like, oh, "That's my thing. Now's the time. The time is now."
We are connected.
But no, dude, he absolutely stole the show, just in Comic-Con and just this film. Crazy.
Yeah.
This was actually, Kevin Feige said, was one of the most CG intensive films, including Avengers, just because of like all the Asgard stuff. And
yeah, considering that whole first scene was literally all CG, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Tom Hiddleston and Chris Hemsworth look like they've become, in interviews, like really good friends, which is really awesome.
They actually are brothers now.
They said that. Well, Chris Hemsworth said that like they kind of honorarily like adopted Tom Hiddleston as like a honorary Hemsworth.
That's funny.
But like they just like have such respect for each other, which is amazing. In some interviews, it looks like they like switched outfits. I don't know if they did, but like literally like in one interview I watched, they like one had like a white shirt and a vest on, and the other one had like a blue shirt on, and then the other one like it flipped, and it looked like the exact same outfits that they just like flipped.
I feel like the size would be different though.
I don't know, because like Chris Hemsworth doesn't stay that buff. They're both like 6 foot.
Yeah, that's true. So they could swap stuff, or that could also mean that they both bought like pairs of clothing.
Yeah, they went on a shopping spree together.
That way they can twin.
Yeah. There's a one shot in this one, another short film called All Hail the King, and it's with Trevor from Iron Man 3 in jail. Have you seen this one?
No.
Really? Do you want me to talk? I'll talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's a guy that's going to jail like every like week or so to interview Trevor.
Wait. Doesn't this hint at like an actual Mandarin being out there?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, so Trevor like has fans in prison, and he has like this posse, and then they talk about the 10 rings, and this interviewer, like his camera like ejects like a gun, and he like kills everyone in the room and like breaks Trevor out of prison, and he's like, "We're gonna go meet the man whose name you stole," like hinting at the real Mandarin, which we're hopefully gonna see in Shang-Chi, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do it really well.
Also, Sam Rockwell, Hammer from Justin Hammer, is in the prison as well. He's like, "I don't get what all the hype is for this Trevor guy."
Did he die? I forget. Was he killed during the
Trevor or Justin Hammer?
Hammer.
No, he just went to jail. He's in jail.
Okay.
with him.
No, I'm saying I didn't know if he died during the breakout.
Oh, no. The breakout was very, like, closed off in one ward.
Okay.
I also wanted to, like, if any actors have listened to this podcast, I want to thank you for your patience because people, like, ask the same questions in interviews, and I just can't imagine how annoying that can get.
Like, if you want to know the answer to this question, please see Article 5 from interview 3.
Yeah. Just have such patience. There was one interview I watched where someone dressed up as Odin's brother and like had this huge fake beard, and then Loki gave him snakes in a can as the god of mischief. It was like a roller coaster of an interview.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I also want to give a shout out to Kevin Feige because he's just like every film that like I watch, like he is so knowledgeable and so invested in each and every single one. Like this is his life, which like is just crazy how much knowledge he has on these subjects. Like I've looked up a little bit about his history, but like he started out like as a production assistant under one of the producers for X-Men and like worked his way up the ranks, is now literally the president of Marvel. So like just crazy.
You can say that his journey is similar to Loki's in his rise to power.
But he's not a villain, I don't think.
No, he's a good guy.
Yeah. Also, apparently, the director Alan Taylor didn't really like the film, how it turned out. He said that he loved filming it and everything, but there was a ton of changes in the edit room from Marvel Studios. So I don't know how much of that was on him and how much of it was on Marvel. There's always going to be conflicts with like clients and stuff. So like, I don't know.
Well, it is what it is. The phrase of 2020.
Release the Taylor cut. But yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all my notes and everything. So
Me too. That's Iron Man 3. Just kidding.
Is it
Haha.
Iron Man 3?
Thor 2.
You said that so confidently. You're like, this is Iron Man 3. Wait a second.
I was thinking about Trevor, and I was like, oh, I miss Trevor.
Oh, man.
This is Thor: The Dark World. Did I say it's called the Dark Kingdom in Germany?
Really?
Because they had another film from Russia called Dark World, and they didn't want to get it confused. Yeah, I was watching an interview. Like, I didn't even find that like from any like interviews or facts or anything. I just like was watching. Well, I guess I found it from an interview. I was watching an interview, and on the poster behind them said Thor: The Dark Kingdom. I was like, what? And I like looked it up.
I guess Asgard's the kingdom then, but like there's nothing that really makes it dark. I don't know. I feel like there could have been a better name change there.
Yeah.
Like Thor, the Dark Town.
The Dark Town.
Thor, the Dark Place.
Okay. A quiet place.
I don't know. I just feel like there's something better than Kingdom there. But yeah, that's cool.
That is Thor Dose. All right. Anything else you want to talk about?
Not really. I think I'm good. I'm covered.
We gotta do a review. I'll be right back.
What? What? Hello?
All right, I'm back.
Oh, you're back.
I brought my roommate, Matt. He's been on the podcast because he has not left us a review, but he's listened to it. He's going to leave a review right now. Go, Matt.
So, I think that the Whatever You Want podcast is a great podcast to listen to, get some more insight. It's a great thing to play video games too, when you're grinding out those missions that are very boring. Their interesting conversation tends to sprucing some things up, and it turns those grinding missions into a fun-filled opportunity to learn more about these amazing movies.
Thank you so much, Matt. Oh my god.
Thank you, Matt. Everyone clap for Matt.
What
I'll put
a
in some
guy.
claps in post. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
All right, that was perfectly within the 180 character limit, too. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. Yeah, leave a review because we're running out. Thank you to those who have left a review. That is actually all I had because we did Patron Shout-Outs at the top, I think, right?
Yep.
Is there anything else you want to talk about, Daniel?
Nope.
Check out the Audible link if you want to listen to audiobooks. I've been listening to some. They're pretty good. Take us home, Daniel. Introduction.
We just talked about whatever you wanted to talk about, and now we're done.
Thank you so much for listening. Tune in next time. I think Winter Soldier. This next is my
Yep.
favorite Marvel movie, actually. I'm very excited.
Dude, Winter Soldier is boss.
I have some stories, actually. I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast, but I met
You
someone.
technically told me, yeah.
I met someone who went to high school and is best friends with the Russo brothers, which was really cool. But yeah, tune in next time for that and more. Goodbye.
Peace out.